Next on Worcester News Tonight, conflict in Brookfield, how a sign along Route 9 is causing controversy. Plus, city firefighters honored for their life-saving rescue in Worcester this week. Well, good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Anna Botari. We begin this evening with the weather. Central Massachusetts saw temperatures reach the mid-70s Wednesday afternoon. Many were out taking advantage of it, including artists for this year's Powwow Worcester. The 10-day festival wraps up this Sunday. Here's a look at the mural in progress on the back of the wall of the Fidelity Bank Worcester Ice Center, along with art on the walls of Canterbury Street School. We'll have a check of our local forecast later on in the show. And while the weather is also improving in Houston, now Tropical Depression Harvey is still having an impact. The relief efforts to help hurricane victims in Texas here in Worcester continue. Area men college basketball teams are answering the call from a fellow coach in the Houston area to donate t-shirts and shoes to hurricane victims. WPI, the College of the Holy Cross, Clark, and Worcester State University say they're sending gear to help. Houston coach Kelvin Sampson asked in a tweet anyone who can help to send 20 school t-shirts and 10 pairs of shoes. WPI's basketball coach Chris Bartley says it's nice to see the power of social media helping those in need.
And, we're rallying around each other and hopefully helping the people in Texas. We tried to send out as many shirts as we had lying around the office. And, hopefully, I know it's a small thing, but hopefully if everyone does it, it'll turn into something important and help a lot of people.
While so many people are in need of help, there are many animals who need help as well. So many of these vulnerable victims of the storm are stranded, some of them left behind when their owners had to evacuate. Abby Nesgoda has the latest.
Keep praying for Texas. This is Lisa Hurley-First's backyard near Auburn, Texas. It's a long way away from where she grew up in North Reading, Massachusetts, but a yard she wouldn't leave, even as the floodwaters rose and others got out.
Oh my God, the pony.
She and her 14 animals stayed.
I couldn't leave them. I'm committed to them, and there's nowhere for them to go.
We spoke with the animal lover over FaceTime, and all of hers, including foster and therapy dogs, are safe. But she knows so many others were left.
People just abandon them. I just can't even explain the horror that is going to be happening in Houston.
And I think everyone's trying to figure out, how do we help animals?
Mike Kiley, director of adoption centers at the MSPCA, says they're still waiting to find out what Texas needs on the ground in terms of help with animal welfare. But he says there is something you can do to help now.
I'm sure people are thinking maybe I could take an animal in, maybe I could provide a home. And I think they should do that locally first.
With the water receding, Lisa's already thinking about how many more she can take in, but she hopes her friends here at home can help too.
Everybody in New England and all my friends, adopt, don't shop. We have so many great rescue dogs down here. If ever you want to give help, now's the time.
Well, many Central Massachusetts organizations are sending aid to Texas to help Hurricane Harvey victims. Auburn Call Fire Captain Jeff Mitchell left for Texas this morning as a member of Team Rubicon. The team's mission is to provide disaster relief to people affected by natural disasters. Auburn Fire Chief Stephen Coleman says Team Rubicon gives first responders a chance to work one-on-one with victims.
Rubicon's mission is to really kind of get down into the neighborhoods and actually help the citizens and the residents of a community rebuild. So they're able to get right onto the properties and help with private cleanup efforts in residential homes and kind of helping people sort of immediately rebuild.
Chief Coleman says Mitchell is expected to be in Texas for about 1 week. Well, 3 Worcester firefighters are honored Wednesday for their heroic work saving a woman from a 2-alarm fire. The city says the apartment she was rescued from had an illegal living situation, making it more difficult. Our Brittany Schaefer has the story.
The fire broke out early Tuesday morning in a multi-family home on Grosvenor Street. The quick action from the firefighters from Ladder 3 led to a life saved. 3 Worcester firefighters are being called heroes after saving the life of a woman who was trapped on a roof during a fire.
We immediately went up into our bucket after setting up and didn't see her initially until we got up and some of the smoke cleared and we saw her on the edge of the roof. once we got her into the bucket, we just had her sit down there so we can get her back down to the ground.
Everything went flawlessly. As they were ascending to the roof, fire broke out of the second floor window directly below where the woman was hanging onto the dormer window.
Lieutenant William Dowd and firefighters Ronald Wiley and Daniel Gagne were honored at a city ceremony Wednesday. City manager Ed Augustus says this is a clear example of how dedicated the department is.
It's what we kind of have come to expect of them day in and day out, but it still needs to be recognized as something the average person could never do. It's above and beyond to go in and risk your life to save another person's life.
Fire Chief Michael Lavoie says if it weren't for the quick actions from his men, the situation could have easily been a tragedy.
It could have been easily gone wrong. It could have been a tragedy on both sides, both hers and the firefighters. They did the job flawlessly, and I couldn't be prouder.
Lieutenant Dowd is a 23-year veteran. He says the proper training and teamwork were key in this happy ending.
Just doing a lot of practice in what we do and setting up quickly and getting to where we need to be. And I think that paid off.
These guys are absolutely deserving. Will they say it? No. They're going to say, we were only doing our jobs. I'm going to explain to them why only doing their jobs saves a life.
Now, Lavoie says the apartment was illegal because it only had one exit, making it a dangerous situation for not only the residents but the firefighters as well. Lavoie says this is something the city is taking seriously. Brittany Schaefer, Worcester News Tonight.
Well, a man's sign in Brookfield has been causing controversy for years. Town officials say the sign along Route 9 is a form of harassment, but the sign's owner says it's freedom of speech. And the issue appears to be headed to court. Our Catherine Andrioli has more.
Kraft says he's been distributing items outside his Brookfield shed since 1990, but now it's the sign on his property that's causing a stir.
Put him up on the sign, and now he's going after me because he does not like his name on the sign, and people don't want to be put to the task of the truth.
The sign on Route 9 has had some town residents upset, including Selectman Clarence Snyder. His name was put on the sign after he says Holdcraft violated permit violations.
They don't want to be on the sign. My name is on the sign. The reason my name is on the sign is I would prefer it to be my name, not a town employee's name, not a resident's name. It would appear to me, and now validated by the Zoning Board of Appeals, that in fact the special permit had lapsed. And so therefore it's now time to clean up the site.
Holdcraft says the town gave him a permit several years ago, allowing people to pick up various items from his property. He says he put Mr. Snyder's name on that sign to exercise his right for the First Amendment.
It helps me so I don't have to throw it in the dump, and it helps them as well. And that's what this property, I've been doing that since 1990 on here. And then they gave me a permit officially in 2003, and everything's been fine since then.
Snyder says they want the area to be clean. He says it's part of an effort to attract more young professionals to the area. For now, he says he wants his name off the sign.
I know who I am and what I stand for, and it really is something about land use and making this town look nice.
We have to keep the First Amendment alive in our country, and I'm doing my part. People don't want to hear the truth, but here in Brookfield, you're going to hear it.
In Brookfield, Catherine Andrioli, Worcester News Tonight.
A Worcester nursing home is under investigation by the state after its co-founder died there. The Boston Globe is reporting 87-year-old Walter Haddad moved into Holy Trinity Nursing Center last year when his health started failing. He fell and hit his head on a nightstand earlier this month and died 2 days later. The state's Department of Public Health confirming tonight the incident was reported to them and they are conducting a detailed review. Holy Trinity did not comment when we called there today. Well, more than 2,000 people passed away from opioid-related overdoses in 2016. Today, purple flags were placed in their honor to raise awareness about addiction. Our Rosalind Flaherty has more.
A powerful message stands outside UMass Memorial Medical Center.
This is really like an eye-opener for a lot of people. It's really important to recognize the people that we've lost.
2,069 flags are placed in the ground to represent opioid-related deaths in Massachusetts in just the last year.
This isn't different from any other medical illness, and this is This is a disease.
Families and friends of those lost to overdoses helped hospital staff line the flags. Louise Viola lost her son 7 years ago to addiction and has another son who is also suffering from the disease.
It's most important for people to be aware that these are people who are struggling and didn't choose to be addicts.
Viola says her son was 42 when he died after being addicted to alcohol and cocaine for many years. She says her advice to other parents is to listen.
Love them, not to let the anger, the upset in the family overtake them, to remind them that they're a good person, that they need help.
Richard Kenny is a recovery coach at UMass Memorial Medical Center. He says he was under the influence for a decade and has lost family members to addiction.
You know, one thing led to another, and by the time it spirals out of control, it's more than you can really, it's more of a burden.
He says his experience as an addict makes it easier for him to help coach those affected. Kenny has been sober since July 2014 and wants others to know recovery is possible.
It's not like a pie in the sky idea. It's not some, it's not a fantasy. It's possible.
Rosalind Flaherty, Worcester.